Good morning, friends. It is a beautiful foggy morning where I am. The sun is breaking through. Let's hope that's a prophetic sign of better things to come. Always ready for those. Please find a seat on the Liberty Bus and we will begin our last scheduled tour for this week. Today is January 25th, 2013, and the tour bus does not run on weekends. I am beginning by mentioning this article about the odd little Keshe contract because I hyped this a few days ago as being a very positive thing. Perhaps it is. However, the treaty asks for people to sign and commit body and soul. And evidently, as American Kabuki reflected on this, he was uncomfortable with it. So I want to pass that on. We don't want to sell our soul, even for peace. And moving on to thoughts about being manipulated and perhaps having our soul stolen. Here's how you are being profoundly manipulated by political parlor tricks and media sleight of hand. Now, this article is not specifically about your soul being stolen. It's more about your money being stolen. If you just got paid recently, you probably noticed your taxes went up and your take-home pay went down. Well, yes, we did notice that at the beginning of this year. More money is going to line the pockets of Big Pharma. This is all, well, not all, there are other tax issues, but a lot of this has to do with Obamacare. And we were warned over the last few years that this would happen. And this is the moment in which it is happening. They take our money and provide for dangerous pharmaceuticals, and you can visit the YouTube channel Dr. U Inc. if you need proof of that and read more of Mike Adams. And there's a lot of information out there. Just do a web search. The pharmaceuticals are dangerous. They only treat symptoms, and yet we are being forced to pay, even though we choose ourselves not to take pharmaceutical drugs, we are being forced to pay for them to interfere in someone else's life. Obama's 3Ds, divert, distract, deceive. Where are the 20 Benghazi survivors? I realize it might sound this morning as if I'm anti-Obama. I'm not. I am anti-tyranny. And at the moment, he is a tool that is being used to impose tyranny. Speaking of being deceived, I know that we all want an easy out. We all want a magical solution, Nasara, whatever, something that will pop us right out of all of our troubles. Now, I can't rule out a miracle from God. That may happen. It has been known to happen. However, we can't all sit around and wait for some magical deliverance. We need to stand up and say, no, I ain't gonna be treated this way. The Untouchables, how the Obama administration protected Wall Street from prosecutions. Cry out for justice. Cry out to God. Cry out to anyone who will listen. That's my suggestion. Obama tailoring military leadership to only those who will shoot fellow Americans. As I said, I know that those of us who've been following the Nasara idea, recently there's been tremendous hope that things were on the verge of changing. And at the same time, all this freight train just continues to roar through our country, imposing tyranny. And we can hope for something better, but we cannot afford to ignore this. We need to continue to be beacons and lighthouses to warn people away from this dark future. This morning, Dr. Pachenik is on the Alex Jones show, and of course the link is not available for that yet. I do recommend listening at some point when you can. One thing they are discussing is the Cloward-Piven strategy. The Cloward-Piven strategy is the planned method of collapsing the American economy. We can, as I said, we can hope for better days, but we can't afford to ignore this. And to give some context for the Cloward-Piven, the desire to collapse America, it's in order to possess us all to a greater degree. Ultimately, this is a demonic, a spiritual plan, but it is being facilitated through evil people, people who have, and I mean, they might even believe they're doing good, but let's face it, they're not. Historically, one of the most fascinating to me of times that a tremendous amount of tyranny was exercised was Pope Innocent enjoyed a victory over King John of England. They had a quarrel back and forth. Innocent settled it by nominating Stephen Langton over the heads of both candidates. John refused to submit. Innocent imposed an interdict, might be interdict, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, on the kingdom and threatened him with a crusade. Man, see, the tricks don't change. They have the same bag of tricks that they use over and over. If you don't do this, we're going to start a war. So the English king not only consented to recognize Langton, but also, drumroll please, to hold England and Ireland as fiefs of the Holy See, subject to an annual tribute. The Pope virtually ruled England through his legates. John, and this doesn't even, as I've read in other places, this doesn't even paint the full picture. John essentially signed over all of England, all of anything that would ever become a part of England, all the people within England. In case you hadn't noticed, that includes us in the United States, in Canada, Australia, any place that was ever colonized by the British. This is the kind of tyranny that has been imposed, and we need to stand up and say, no, I'm a free person. I've mentioned the Divine Providence Trust, the One People's Trust. If you feel comfortable with that, go for it. But we definitely need to find means to throw off this tyranny. I'm not talking about physical means. This is all things that have been done on paper and in the spiritual realm and in the realm of the soul. And I believe that's where we can reclaim ourselves and our land. This is a little video. I just have some homework suggestions here for the weekend. Renaissance or Dark Ages. This does not explain Innocent demanding the kingdom from John, but it does get into what followed, which was the Magna Carta and John releasing freedom. And this also talks about how finances direct either poverty or abundance and make possible either Dark Ages or a Renaissance. Let's choose a Renaissance, okay? More homework. The End of Freedom. Stefan Molyneux, I was looking for the story of your enslavement and came across this. If you aren't familiar with all of the liberty movement issues, listening to Stephen Molyneux is a very easy way to begin to understand tyranny, financial tyranny, and the full implications of it. And here, the story of your enslavement only takes 13 minutes and 10 seconds to watch. And if you have never watched this video, no matter how deep your understanding runs, you will probably learn something, or at least reach a new level of understanding if you watch this video. I thank you for joining me for this tour of January 25th, 2013. The tour was organized by She Who Will Walk in the Dark Productions. Have you had cause to weep lately? You know what? Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And the morning always comes. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you get to spend some time doing something that helps others become more free, and also spend some time resting, reflecting, and just enjoying life, smelling the flowers. Take care, insist on liberty, and love one another.